friend of the devil is a friend of mine. I get home before daylight. How many seashells does she sell on the... I can't remember the whole thing.
Welcome back to Old Man Media.
Where I can't figure out how cameras work. My name is Will Ragg.
My name is Paul Buchanan, and today we were talking about the White Album by the Beatles because, it's 2026. It's high time we sat down and spoke about this album.
Reevaluated.
Yeah, we'll go into it later, but I feel like we want to set the ground with some Beatles opinions of our own. Favorite Beatle?
Favorite Beatle? I think for me it's got to be George. I think his solo stuff is better than any of the other Beatles solos. I mean, I say that I love Paul McCartney's solo stuff. I'm not fussed on John Lennon's solo stuff. But
wow, this is where some of my revelations have come from with the Beatles' White Album recently, and you know what? I've actually warmed around to John. I think I went through a phase, when you're
to John from the White Album. Oh really?
He's a powerhouse on that album.
Interesting, because I think easily his worst vocal performances on this album.
No, best.
No.
Yeah, I'm serious. Best.
Glass Onion fucking sucks.
No, okay, we'll go into this later. We're gonna get into it, but my favorite Beatle. I'm in a bit of an identity crisis at the moment. I think.
Are you?
Because I like Paul a lot for his kind of just keeping it together, keeping focused on the work, being a bit of a workaholic, but ultimately always kind of keeping face and always being friendly and being, a decent dude. But then John's brings that edginess and experimentalism to the group that he's not a perfect person, but you don't want an artist to be a perfect person, I think, and it's...
No, I don't have a puritanical view of an artist should have done this. I do, the beating of the wife's not great, but his music... I think he was a good musician, but I don't know. For George, for me, it's always been a better songwriter. I think the songs on I can't remember the name of the album now. It's not. I've got it tattooed on me, and I can't remember.
All Things Must Pass.
All Things Must Pass. I think the songs on the album are just perfect. Like all of them, I think it's written so well. And I love Ringo as well. Ringo's a close second for me.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm also just like Ringo's just like, you can't say a bad word on him. He's probably the nicest Beatle.
He's the boy.
But if you took him out of the Beatles, he wouldn't be talked about as a songwriter, or he wouldn't be talked about.
I mean, musicianly, he's easily the worst. But worst is like. He's not a bad musician.
Not musicianly, no, but I think musicianly he's very good. But I think as a songwriter, he's got not much chops, and it's.
But I mean, if you want to compare all of four of them, like in terms of their musicianship, I think probably Ringo's fourth. No.
Maybe in terms of musicianship, I'd say he's like above John.
Really?
I'd say that John's a better songwriter, of course, but I think I don't know about. I think. Yeah, we'll go into it later, but I think the White Album's got some really, really, really good drumming on it.
Yeah, Ringo really shines in this one.
But yeah, I think my favourite Beatle was will and always will be Paul McCartney.
Yeah, I mean he's the GOAT. He is like, Michael Jordan was born to be a basketball player. Paul McCartney was born to write melodies.
Yeah,
he's just amazing at it. He's just incredible. Even in his, how old is he now? 80s?
I would say he's lost it.
Has you really?
Have you listened to any of his recent outputs? Fucking garbage.
Oh, is it really? I don't think.
Have you listened to McCartney 3?
A little bit.
He's got like this song where it's like deep down feeling when it feels like your heart's gonna break, and he's trying to do some pop thing, and you're just like, fuck, dude, just hang it up already. You're ruining it. And the one before that, it's got "For You" on it. I just wanna for you. So bad.
I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah, I don't think you should be qualified to talk about late Paul McCartney outfit because he's released some stinkers. I believe that Paul was replaced in like 10 years ago, maybe.
The replacement?
I don't believe that he was replaced in the 60s because he still went on to write so much good shit. I believe he was probably replaced 10 years ago. Some sort of anthropomorphoid skin eater.
Right, but the thing is, right, if he was replaced in the 60s, they have a reason for doing that, in that he was, they were at the height of their fame, and they wanted to keep that train going, right? But replacing him 10 years ago?
Why would they replace him back then?
Because they had still, they were at the height of their fame in the 60s, and they were still, wanted to...
And he's the reason for it. Like, you replace him at his pinnacle, you're just like, okay. And, Paul replacement rumors bollocks.
Yeah, well, obviously it's not true, but I think if you're going to replace him at some point, it would have been in the 60s and not 10 years ago.
10 years ago. They're like, let's ruin this man's reputation and career. But no, what I like about Ringo, I feel like Ringo is sort of the national animal of the Old Man Media podcast. He's the mascot.
The national animal?
Just him with his peace fingers like that, with the sunglasses on. Pull that up. It's gonna be Old Man Media for sure.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's just a good, and peace and love, man. That's what it's all about.
That is what it's all about. Ringo, you are right. Have you seen the interviews with him on late night shows? And he's just he's talking to, I want to say Letterman or something.
Dick Cavett.
Dick Cavett's in the Epstein files. Anyway, he's talking to Letterman or something, and he's just talking absolute gibberish. And Letterman's like, yeah, all right, cool. He's such a bonkers guy. He's so funny.
Yeah, it's a lot of funny. He's released a lot of music in the past. I say a lot of music, but there's music videos that he's released in the past 5 years. It's all green screen. And it's him over green superimposed over some ducks, and it's peace fingers. It's good shit. But yeah, my favorite Beatle was Paul for his output, solo work, songwriting, general just outlook on life. I think. I think George is a dick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think you go back and you watch, and he's just he's acting above the dynamic of the group, but by doing that, he's kind of not sorting anything out. He's just avoiding everything, and he's just he's so wrapped up in his peace and love thing, and I think the kind of
Harry
Eastern
Krishna
philosophy bollocks that he uses.
This is a man who's read
uses. Yeah, I like it. I like Eastern philosophy, but I think he uses it to purport his ego. He's like, I'm better than you. I'm taking the path of least resistance. I'm so enlightened, and it's yeah, dude, just step in. Try and help. Paul's fucking doing his best and get back to, get the band going, and everyone's just not there for it.
I don't know. I think picking a favourite Beatle is a bit of a fool's errand, because they all have their merits, and all of them, because the Beatles are so good, is because all of the four of them melded together so well, and they kind of complemented each other for about a decade, until obviously they all parted after 1970. But there was a long period there where they worked really well, and they made some of the best albums ever, because musically they were such good friends, and they were such a tight knit group. But so part of that reason is why I think that you have a good reason to pick any of them, really.
Yeah,
it's the same with any your favourite Beatles album. Is there's not a right answer to that. There is a wrong answer. There is a wrong answer to that, which I'm not telling you what it is. You'll have to guess. But yeah, I'm not telling you.
With the Beatles.
No, I like With the Beatles.
Right.
Don't you? You like it? You don't like With the Beatles?
What's on that? Shit all.
They've got some good stuff on there. Is that the one where they do the Buck Owens cover?
Yeah, exactly. It's a cover like that. Yeah, no, With the Beatles is the worst one. All My Loving's really the only good song on it.
I Want to Be Your Man. Money, That's What I Want.
Please, Mr. Postman. Yeah, get out of here.
Okay,
yeah.
Actually, that's not great.
It's
I
really
actually had mistaken it for A Hard Day's Night, which is a great album.
Hard Day's Night is a good album.
So I got that mixed up. So maybe that's actually a bad album.
So was that the one you were saying?
No, I'm not telling you which one it was. You got to guess.
It is literally only With the Beatles.
That's their only bad album.
Also, there's the new single they released of AI Now and Then.
Was that with AI? That was before.
Yeah, they
AI.
AI John Lennon vocals. Now and
No,
Then.
that's pre-AI.
Nope.
Is it really?
Used AI to like separate stuff and update. It was in 2023, but still used AI.
How would they have used AI in 2023? It didn't come. Oh, I guess it did. No, I guess it did. No, it came out in 22.
We're the lackeys who get at our fingertips in 2025. But if you in the know, you probably could have been using AI like back in 2016.
Yeah.
Some basic form of it, but. What I find kind of weird about Now and Then is from like a certain angle, just looking at the cover, it kind of just looks like someone's cut up some lines.
It's quite a cool cover. I quite like that.
I don't know.
But the song is terrible.
Like from a glance, it looks like someone just cut up some lines of like cocaine or something.
It does. Yeah. So we had a discussion a couple of months ago about what our favourite Beatles album was. I think everyone's got one. I won't speak for you. What did you say?
Abbey Road.
Did you really? No, your Chiefs changed your thing there.
No, I mean,
No,
fair
you
enough. I'm allowed to change because it's that's the nature of it. Is one day you wake up and you're a hard day's night kind of guy, and then another day you wake up and you think you're Rubber Soul. But no, I've for a long time I think I've felt that Abbey Road is the most cohesive one. Probably the one with the most Paul McCartney involvement, the grand composition medleys that, and it's I think as a complete album, succinct work of art, it is the best. And the end as well, I think like that, I think although it sounds cringy was it the love you make is equal to the love you take or something?
What song's that on?
The End.
Oh, I don't remember.
In the end, the love you make is equal to the love you take, or something, or vice versa. But I always loved that quote. I think, it's such a beautiful way of ending a career of one of the best popular music groups of all time.
Wasn't their last album though?
Yes, it was.
Let It Be was.
No, Let It Be was before, and then they released Abbey Road.
Let It Be coming out in 1970. Because that's what the whole documentary is about, the making of their last album.
No, because they get Billy Preston and they're in the documentary. They're playing around with songs that would later be on Abbey Road. So
yeah, because I know they do. What's it? The
Let It Be would
Silverhammer.
be a pretty shocking last album.
Yeah, was it really? I always thought that it was
It'd be
Abbey
pretty
Road
trash.
then Let It Be.
No.
Yeah.
Or at least I don't know what order they released it in, but they definitely wrote Abbey Road last.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see.
We're pulling that up.
Let It Be was the final album released by the Beatles, appearing after their breakup, while Abbey Road was the last album they actually recorded together.
That's so fucking annoying. Why would they?
Yeah, that's really weird.
I mean, Abbey Road was the best one to end it on, but Let It Be is all right.
While Abbey Road was recorded last, Let It Be was assembled and released later, following the official dissolution of the band. Yeah, I mean, I was under that impression because of the documentary. I didn't realise how much friction Maxwell Silverhammer caused the band. Like John and George hated it.
Yeah, it's one of his granny bangers or whatever they used to call it. Which, that's one thing you can kind of hold against Paul was we'll get all into this on the White Album because, I think the White Album I wish there was a Get Back style kind of documentary on this era because so much has happened really. They've come back from India. India wasn't the dream that they all believed it was. George led them astray. And, they came back and they kind of roundabouts sort of denounced the Maharishi.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll get into that later, though.
Are they going to get into this in the biopic, do you reckon?
I hope so.
Because that'd be interesting.
Yeah. So, what was your favourite Beatles album?
Mine is the one we're talking about today. I said that
The White Album.
a couple of months ago, and I was actually worried. You said to me last night, "Let's talk about the White Album today," because I've got stuff to talk about. I was like, okay, I actually haven't probably listened to it back to front in 3 or 4 years.
Well, if it's your favourite Beatles album, then, you should be pretty comfortable in
I don't know. Well, I mean,
holding court.
Yeah. I was worried about it, but then I listened to it this morning whilst I did my jigsaw puzzle of the history of trains, Old Man Media.
It's just why we said we'd meet at 1 and he showed up at 2 and I was like, what time do you call this? And he goes, sorry, I was just doing a jigsaw puzzle. I was like, you fucked. Just make something up. Don't tell me you've just put off. Maybe you wait around.
I didn't want to lie to you.
It made me wait around an hour if you're doing a jigsaw puzzle.
I thought you weren't up.
What was up?
You are not. He sleeps in very late.
Well, it was like fucking work very late. Some of us actually work at our jobs.
Oh, is it? Oh, he gets a job for 1 week and he's put in that card already. I listened to it again and I still maintain it's my favourite. I love the album. I think it's great. I think there is a lot. I even myself have criticisms of it. Like some of they just got so many misses on this album. Obla Di Obla Da I think sucks. Glass Onion sucks. Piggies sucks.
Piggies does suck. I can agree with that.
Sexy Sadie sucks. Revolution 9. It's just an 8-minute like weird like experimental little thing they did with just like news recordings. It was a bit weird. I don't know. It wasn't fast.
Like the average Beatles fan that listened to that in like 60.
But I bet they loved it.
No, I'm saying you sound like the average Beatles fan that listened to that. It's like a bit far out, isn't it?
But also equally, I think there's some of their best songs on here. I think, yeah, if you want to talk about back to front, what works best as an album, then yeah, I mean, maybe this isn't the best. But I think, for me, I just absolutely adore the song Don't Pass Me By. And I think it's...
Okay. We'll get into that later as well.
I think Ringo goes God mode there. So good. I love Ringo so much. And Why Don't We Do It in the Road, Your Blues, Everybody's Got Something to Hide Except Me and My Monkey, Helter Skelter, Revolution 1, Cry Baby Cry. What else we got? Happiness is a Warm Gun, While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
So yeah, I've got a lot to talk about today. I've got a lot of
chock full of bangers.
Got a lot of strong opinions formed over the past
I can't wait to
few
hear them.
days. But I re-listened to the White Album on a run the other day. Prior to this, I think we had a conversation, and I said the White Album's the most overrated album, or maybe I said it was a mess. I can't remember. I used to hold a grudge against the White Album for being, albeit quite a commitment to listen to, and at times not always rewarding.
Yeah, look, it's too long. I will give you that. It is far too. It's an hour and a half long. Like it shouldn't. Yeah.
But yeah, I listened to it on a run, and it timed perfectly with my run. I think it was like a 14k, and at the end of it, Good Night came on. I was like, sick. I listened to the whole of Revolution 9, by the way, on my run. That was wild. But yeah, I actually, it's funny saying this in 2026. While I was completely blown away by it, I was like, wow, maybe I've been wrong about this album, because yeah, it's just the production on it is so, like, the drums sound so great and crisp. There's just some really, really like just commitment to songwriting and craft on it, with like lovely melodies, weird kind of like forays into pushing the boundaries out of how forming the future of heavy metal music, even with Blues and Helter Skelter, and even Birthday. Like, you listen to that and you think, like, bands like Led Zeppelin have made a career off of just doing shit like this, maybe a little bit better in terms of Led Zeppelin, Birthday to Led Zeppelin, but
it's a direct line. No.
Yeah, I don't know, it's just like you listen to that and then you can listen to shit from like Jack White and you're like, it sounds like, sorry for the pun, didn't mean that, but the White Album. Yeah, it's just like, for pushing all of these boundaries out and going all around the shop. It's just got everything on there, and I really came to a new found love for the White Album after that listen, and I listened to it again last night, and yeah, again, just like blown away. I think, like, you've got like Back in the USSR opens up the album.
Great.
Paul's drumming on that.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And one thing that really struck me is that in like the third chorus, there's like a tremolo guitar. It's like, and I was like, who was fucking doing that? Like, you've got surf rock where they're doing that, but like it was the way it was played. I was like, this sounds like it could be on a Pavement album. Like,
oh yeah,
crazy. And it's only the first track, and I'm thinking like, wow, that's like already such a weird and brave cut to just put in the song.
Who's playing guitar there? Is it John?
Imagine so, yeah. It's definitely a John kind of type beat. But yeah, I want to preface it with the history. They come back from India. They denounce the Maharishi, and there is a thing. There is a rumor. Not sure if it was ever confirmed or not, but it's heavily suggested it was true that the Maharishi sexually abused John in India.
Oh shit! Really?
And Sexy Sadie was originally, the lyrics was Maharishi, my what have you done, or whatever it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah. John started seeing Yoko after he came back from India.
Oh right.
I think John had a terrible time in India, but they all came back with 32 songs. 32 songs that would later be whittled down to whatever the track listing is of the White Album. Or maybe it is 32 songs, I don't know, but 20 something.
Well,
at the
it
top.
is. Well, it's actually 30. So
They dropped two songs.
Well, also one of them's Revolution 9. I can't imagine they wrote that.
No. But, yeah, John was still with his partner or just breaking up with his partner. I think there's a story where, what was her name? Cynthia came back from, or came into the house and Yoko was wearing her bathrobe. It's one of the famous stories.
Oh, really?
But yeah, they came back from India and George Martin listened to all 32 songs and he said, I listened to all of them and there were some I didn't think were that great. So
Putting it mildly.
they all hopped into the studio and they had 3 studios, basically 3 separate recording studios they could use, like next to each other, or 3 booths. And apparently, sometimes all 3 of them would be in use. You know, all the Beatles were going off in their own way, and they were venturing out. You know, the Lennon McCartney partnership isn't what it used to be. You got Happiness is a Warm Gun, which is, you know, it's like I think parts it's sort of written by Paul, part of it is written by John. But it's essentially 3 different songs meshed together, and Radiohead would later cite that as an influence on Paranoid Android, which is 3 separate songs, kind of, or song ideas they had that they just put into one. So hugely influential. But yeah, George Martin was kind of pushing them back on this idea of the double album. He was like, whittle them down to like 14 good, really, really good songs. Don't do this like double album. He doesn't want to do it. But of course, the Beatles were adamant about what they wanted to do, to the point that they even pissed off one of the engineers, Geoff Emerick, who wouldn't come back until the Abbey Road sessions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what did they do to piss him off?
I think it was just the demeanour. I think George Martin was like, oh, I think, you know, the way you're phrasing this, the timing's a bit weird. Maybe just a half beat before. And then Paul goes, well, why don't you come in the booth and sing it then, George? And then I think apparently the tensions were high. It was very unpleasant to be in the studio. And then John started bringing Yoko in and didn't really consult anyone. They'd never done that before. And they were just like, oh, okay, so Yoko's hanging around in the studio for a whole day. That's the thing that's happening now. And then Paul brought in his muse at the time, Paul was cheating on his girlfriend at the time. I can't remember what her name was.
What, not Linda?
Not Linda. Before Linda. And yeah, like I can't remember what, she was like some American actress, and his current girlfriend came to surprise him, and found them in bed together.
Ooh.
So yeah,
The
lots
life
of
of a rock
drama
star.
going on behind the scenes of the White Album, and it's almost feels like contributes to this bubbling, you know, melting pot that is the White Album of, you know, everyone's doing their own thing and shit's going crazy, and it is just reflects the inner turmoil in all of their lives. I think George came back and he read I Ching, which is like the Book of Change. It's like an old Chinese text. And I think maybe after the Maharishi drama, and yeah, I think they all were kind of a bit disillusioned with that particular line of the faith. I think what it was as well was that you've got a figurehead, the Maharishi, who's almost a celebrity, and it's like, hang on, Eastern philosophy isn't supposed to be making yourself a celebrity, or you're supposed to be a sort of, you know, conjugator and part of a cog in the wheel of, you know, life. You're supposed to be humble, and I think the Maharishi was almost like, you know, on an ego trip. So George came back and he read the I Ching, and he opened the book to a random page and he saw "Gently Weep."
Oh, really?
And he was like, and then he wrote While My Guitar Gently Weeps. But yeah, just crazy background in the recording of this album. And Yoko came in and helped them record Revolution 9.
Oh, of course she did.
So what it was is they did like 18 takes of Revolution 1, I believe. Let me just pull this up.
Is that normal for a song, doing 18 takes of it? I guess if you're a perfectionist like Paul, maybe it is.
Yeah, so they did 18 takes of Revolution 1, and, you know, the earlier ones are kind of like a little bit more like loose and poppy, but then this 18th take, so the song the take would take 5 minutes. That's the length of the song. They did this take for 10 minutes, and it went around there looping, and John was like screaming, and Yoko kept repeating, "You become naked," and you know, there was lots of distortion and feedback, and then they ended up cutting that up and using it in Revolution 9, probably hence the title Revolution 9.
Interesting.
And Revolution 9 itself was, you know, inspired by the avant-garde scene, John Cage, and musique concrète, which is concrete music in French, which is a movement in found sound and home recordings. And what I find interesting as well is you've got, meanwhile, you think John's going off and doing all this weird stuff, and you know he's getting really obsessed with natural recordings and found sounds and sound collage. Paul had been doing that for a couple of years, but just keeping it to himself, not putting it on songs, and just having it as a hobby, you know, collecting sounds. And then it's like his use of it in songs is much more incorporative. For instance, on Blackbird, he uses in the Abbey Road archive, they've got some, you know, clips of blackbirds. So, and funny enough, while they were recording while they were editing Revolution 9 in another room, John and Yoko, Paul heads into the other studio and is working on Blackbird. And I just think that's hilarious dichotomy if you've got Revolution 9 happening in one room and you've got Blackbird, which Paul describes being inspired by a Bach song.
Oh, really?
He does a little demonstration. It's like, and it's these two, the bass lines moving in one way and the upper melody lines moving in another. And he takes that kind of, and the shapes that he's playing on the guitar, and then he comes out with Blackbird, which is, you know, the same sort of, you've got a bass note and then you've got a melody, and then they're moving in parallel motion.
Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Great song.
But yeah,
I mean, it sounds like incredibly chaotic what was happening. I mean, I think that does show up on the album a lot, as you were saying.
But what I find so amazing is that there's so many different songs on that album, and each of them has like a sort of backstory behind it, where it's not just them throwing shit at the wall. It's like they've also got, like, you know, they're also just turning all of their shit and grief into art.
Yeah, I mean, it does almost come across a little bit as they are putting shit against the wall, but yeah, like the chaos of the recording certainly comes across, which I think can be to its benefit. You know, you could read that in a couple of ways and go, oh, this is all chaotic. There's no clear direction in the album. But I've always kind of been drawn to it being, it's almost like a bit of a compilation album in a way. And it's, you know, it's a string of songs being put together. I mean, you know, is there a clear through line through any of them?
I'd say maybe not through every single one, because, you know,
through certain like 3-track sequences, I think there certainly is.
There are arcs, and each person brings their kind of own song to the table, and yeah, there's just like you know, as I said, they're all kind of pulling from their own lives and putting into their art. But I think that the collaboration is becoming much more chaotic as well. Instead of Lennon and McCartney sitting in a hotel room and, you know, looking at each other while they're playing guitars and, you know, bouncing off of each other, they are, you know, kind of barging in and being like, for an example, they did Obla Di Obla Da. They played it like 5 nights in a row, and they weren't getting the take they were happy with, and coming in, changing the keys and doing this and doing that. And at this time, John was using heroin, started using heroin.
Really?
And he came in one, maybe a bit off his face, and he went, fuck that, let's just do it like this. And he starts hammering the piano, and he does it like double time almost. And that's the piano that you hear the intro of on the actual song. You know, it's
really?
that big, heavy piano intro.
Him on heroin doing it.
Well, mate, you know, he's just a bit more frantic and, you know, unpredictable. And he came in, he was frustrated with it. And he came in and he did that, and he kind of just made the whole song because I think, you know, earlier slower ones are a bit more boring, and there is something to that song that's got this Monty Python-esque kind of, you know, and it is one of, like, you know, Paul McCartney's granny bangers. But I really like it. I really like it. It's kind of got that, yeah, Life of Brian, Life of Brian kind of always look on the bright side of life kind of feel to it, and I think it's a pleasant listen to me. And yeah, that piano, it's like he's hitting it so hard, and also the recording of it. I actually got down in my notes from last night. It was the recording of the keys on this album. They're just so distorted and heavy, and I don't know if anyone had recorded piano like that intentionally before, but it was, yeah. And it's also because they're using 4-track tape machines, and then to accomplish all the overdubbing, they're having to do 4-track, compile it down to 1-track, 4-track, compile it down to 1-track, or a 3-track even, I guess, after you've used the 1-track as the reference track to keep everything in time. And over time, the degradation of the tape adds to this a little bit of saturation and natural distortion. And, you know, you got to have props to George Martin for being able to keep that in track, because it could easily have gone to the point where they'd done so many overdubs that the recording was just fucked. You know, it would just be like so distorted and unusable. But I think, you know, they would have done it sort of methodically and been like, right, let's put the drums down first, because if those get really, really distorted, it will just sound cool.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, and they're just loud hits, and they're already going to be a little bit.
Cool. That's interesting. Sorry, just to, you know, you bring up Monty Python earlier. You know, the obviously a Beatles Monty Python crossover. George Harrison
Funded the Life of Brian.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't know if you knew this, but yeah, Monty Python quote him with being the only reason that Life of Brian got made.
Yep.
Because none of the studios would back them.
Yeah, they didn't have any money, and George Harrison was like, "Oh, I'll give my money to this."
I'll take time from being an egotistical arsehole to.
There's a clip of him playing with the Monty Python band or something, and they're doing some song off All the Things Must Pass. I can't remember.
Oh, really?
And then it goes into like a sea shanty. It's really fun. They're on a talk show.
I've not seen that.
It's very fun. But yeah, funny enough, going back to Old Blood D Dub before I move on from that song, John came in, hit the keys, sped it up. And then I find this quite indicative of this one-up relationship they've got on each other, that the next day Paul goes into the studio and tries to do it even faster. Just like, can't
so
write
funny.
it. Yeah, it's just the pettiness this time.
Yeah, it's really creeping in the late 60s. They're
and like I said, you know, Yoko's in the studio, so then Paul's like, I've started cheating on my girlfriend with this new girl. I'm just going to bring her into the studio. Obviously, he isn't doing it because he really, you know, he
just wants to one up John.
Yeah, it's just him and John, just, you know, kind of. And you know, there's sort of rumours as well that there's cocaine flying around these sessions.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can imagine. It's the late 60s, of course there is.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing LSD. Like, they were very open about the fact they were doing it. Well, not open. Like, they were like, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds isn't about LSD. It couldn't be. But then, like, obviously it is.
Just like colours, man.
We just love a girl named Lucy. And, like, it's just, yeah, it's obvious that they were doing pretty strong stuff.
Yeah.
They quote Dylan with getting them into weed.
Yeah. There's that famous kind of scene where they're on like there's some lawn in America, or they go into the car and John Lennon's with. There's a clip of it somewhere. Is there really? Bob Dylan, John Lennon, or a photo at least. They're in a car and they're stoned and chatting shit. And there's recreated in was it that I'm Not There film with? Was
there someone played John Lennon in that film? No, there wasn't.
Huh? Yeah. There's a scene with what's her face? Tilda Swinton's Bob Dylan, and then
you mean the other one? Sorry, I was talking about the Timothy Chalamet one. Yeah. But yeah, no, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. I also kind of picked up on my re-listen of the album. I was like, there's a lot of Ram vibes going on.
What do you think? Yeah,
absolutely. I guess. In Wild Honey Pie, where it's like it's just an instrumental, but there's these weird kind of like the tape warble and the acoustic guitars, and it's like very like instrumental, but then it's got this kind of like, you know, that homespun like vibe of Ram, where you know you can hear someone like tapping their legs, and it's all like kind of like a little bit acoustic and barnyard almost. You know? There's that. There's Mother Nature's song. I think even Cry Baby Cry has some kind of Ram vibe. So it's this lullaby, Paul McCartney style songwriting. But yeah, I was hearing a lot of Ram influences at the time on the more acoustic and stripped back tracks.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ram, great album. If you haven't listened to Ram, give it a listen. But, yeah, I hadn't put that together, but I think I kind of see that now. Yeah.
I want to move on to While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
Okay.
I think
you give me that look for?
I think it's mid.
Really?
I think it's mid as mid. I think maybe because I know that I hear it and it's just a loop. Dun 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 dun. Just over and over.
I get your point, but I'm not
and
sure.
It's like, and then Eric Clapton comes in. And you're like, oh, just shut. While my guitar gently weeps, and get it. There's a guitar solo, and you're like, oh, I just want to undo myself. It's just.
I want to undo myself. What are you?
I want to control. Delete myself. It's just. It gets a bit much. It's a bit heavy-handed, I think, for George especially, but maybe not. This is the thing. I'm having this new. I used to love George, and I still think All Things Must Pass is a very, very strong album. But God, man, like Here Comes the Sun.
Is that him? Is it?
Yeah, he writes a lot of the like most kind of.
I fucking hate that song.
And now we're really getting into it. I like it in its use of the B movie. I only like that whoever band does the cover of Here Comes the Sun in the B movie. That's the only version I listen to, man.
I just think I've heard that song so many times now. I've just fucking.
Don't get me wrong though. When you're 6 years old, that shit hits.
When you're a toddler, that goes off.
When you're a toddler, like that's like smoking crack.
That and like Mr. Blue Sky go off. The summer of 2006, when I was 7 years old, that went off.
You were 7 in 2000. Oh, only for like 2 or 3
6
months.
Yeah, whatever. Wasn't the point.
Thinks he's so much older than me.
It's actually not mathematically correct, Will.
Drums are hot shit on this album. I think.
Yeah.
I think the drum. There's rumours that I've heard this rumour before. Heard it's not true, but it is a very funny rumour that Ringo went out for lunch because they're struggling with some drum take on, like, I want to say Dear Prudence, and they got in Bernard Purdie, who's a very famous session musician, played with loads and loads of artists, and apparently they got him in and re-recorded the whole song, and then Ringo came back after a few like mimosas or whatever on his lunch break. He's like, "Oh man, actually sounds pretty good. I think we'll just leave it like that."
I choose to believe it.
I'd love to believe it, but also, yeah, I don't know. I feel bad. But yeah, Dear Prudence, what a song. John again, right? It's just, there's something about the vocals on this album. There's like yeah, they cut, man. They cut through. There's emotion and bitterness, and there's, you know, it's ugly emotions that are coming out of that man, but they're fucking so cool.
Yeah, it is really good. The drums, Don't Pass Me By especially. I think the drums are great on that song.
I think Don't Pass Me By is slop. Don't pass me by.
Don't make me cry.
Don't make
me blue.
You got the Fat Controller or whatever from Thomas the Tank Engine just singing your song. It's not. But apparently that song was been knocking around since '62, and it's probably the only solo composition by Ringo put on a Beatles album. I believe.
Oh, really?
Obviously, Octopus's Garden was sort of co-written by George.
Though.
What?
Octopus's Garden sucks.
Nah, we're not going to get along. Don't Pass Me By is like absolute
this might cause a Beatles-like rift in old man media.
Octopus's Garden is so much better than Don't Pass Me By.
Nah,
Don't Pass Me
not
By.
for a second.
If some of McCartney's songs are granny bangers, like Don't Pass Me By is like fucking.
I'll grant it to you that it's a bit of a fucking teeny
UKIP
bopper.
uncle bop.
No, all right. I grant it to you. Like, okay, it makes sense actually when you say it was knocking around to 62. Right? It is a bit of a teeny bopper, but doesn't make it. Any
It's just
good.
like the shitty like piano that they think there's a really cool texture in the song, and it just sounds like fucking carnival music, Dong, 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 don't pass me by. How is that any better than? How is that better than Octopus's Garden?
It's just a lot of fun. No.
Under the sea in an octopus's garden in the shade, and then there's the guitar breaks in it. Oh, it slaps, man.
There's some juice in that song. I don't know what they
Don't
did.
pass me by.
There is.
Juiceless.
It's my favourite Beatles song.
Pasteurized, concentrated. It's not fresh. But we'll just have to agree.
There's
to
crack in
disagree.
that song. I love it.
Nah.
I want to play it at my funeral.
It's one way of making sure I don't show up.
Well, I'm dying after you, so that's fine. I'm going to make sure of it.
Yeah, you've got that. Rocky Raccoon.
Good song.
I used to fucking hate it.
Really?
Thought it was just... Yeah, it's just like starts off as Paul McCartney doing that country accent. And I still don't really get it because it starts off as this kind of country, and it's almost like got the way the guitar comes in, it sounds almost like Johnny Cash-esque. And then you've got Paul McCartney being like, Rocky Raccoon, and you're like, what right,
Yeah.
I'm really losing the plot here. And then it just goes into, he somehow turns the country song into a fucking granny banger again.
I think it speaks to just the wackiness of the album that they go from an opening of basically like a surf rock song, right, to a kind of almost country granny banger, and then to Don't Pass Me By, and then these really heartfelt Happiness Is Warm Gun, and then Why Don't We Do It in the Road, and then you've got Everybody's Got Something to Hide. It's just mental. It just goes up and down. It goes all over the place, and I love that about the album.
I think Paul McCartney is kind of losing the plot on Rocky Raccoon though. It's like it's Rocky Raccoon is a country song. It's like somewhere in the back mining hills of Dakota, there lived a young boy named Rocky Raccoon, and then the chorus is checked into his room to find Gideon's Bible. Her name was McGill. And you're like. These names that he pulls out that just sound like they're out of some Charles Dickens novel.
Gideon's Bible is the name of a Bible.
I know
Oh,
that.
right,
But
okay.
still, just saying Gideon's Bible is it's just so nan cool. As this album goes on, you kind of notice the Paul has a penchant for the old melodies and the kind of old school dance hall almost esque melodies. He really leans heavily into it on Wild. Is it Honey Pie? Where it's like, she was an English girl back in the and then she's like, she's hit the big time, and it's really old school kind of vintage microphone effect on it. And then, but I love that song actually. It's a kind of old time. Da 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 da. But yeah, on that song, John plays a solo. It's about 4 bars long. It's like the hottest shit ever. It's like jazz, Django Reinhardt, gypsy jazz, really, really cool. And yeah, I to the point where I thought it was so cool. I looked up about it, and they were like, it's the kind of shit that John would do, where he'd be able to do it once and never again. Just for 4 bars, just pulls this out of his ass, and then he's like, I can't recreate that. Which I love. That's John in a nutshell, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blues.
Good.
Probably one of the most badass songs you could ever release as a Beatle in the Beatles. The Beatles up to this point have got they're kind of whimsical and love, and then the White Album is Hints of Darkness, and then you just opens, it's like, yeah, I'm lonely, wanna die. You're like, yes, that's fucking crazy. You released this, what?
Yeah.
And John played it after the Beatles broke up. He played it with his, I think it was what they called Old Dirty something. They had a silly name, and it was
Gritty Dirtbag.
it was
No?
I want to say Keith Richards, Keith Moon.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry. I thought you were... Yeah, okay.
He made a super group basically of all these musicians,
Did he?
Clapton. I'm gonna look it up because
Pull that up.
yeah, it was for the Rolling Stones did this rock and roll circus. They're called the Dirty Mac, Eric Clapton, Keith Richards, Mitch Mitchell, who was the drummer for Jimi Hendrix, and Lennon, and they did a performance of Yeah Blues at that show. And I don't know if you've seen the Rolling Stones, like I can't remember what it's fucking called, rock and roll.
No, I
circus.
don't.
It's got famously the Who. They did a performance of A Quick One while he's away, and just blew everyone out of the water. And the Rolling Stones, I think they were doing "Can't Always Get What You Want" as one of their songs, and they were just like, I think they got really pissed off because the Who just completely overshadowed them. And if you go back and watch it, it's fucking crazy. Like the Who are just like at the top of their game.
Do they smash up the instruments afterwards? Is that one of those ones?
No, it's not that far.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
they know that was. Oh no,
it's just you got Keith. Every member of that band was doing something cool in their own way. You got Keith Moon being like almost like kind of like trying to censor myself here, but plays the drums like a loon, and then John Entwistle's standing there all cool and removed, just shredding the bass, and then you've got Pete Townsend doing
who's looking up child porn. Well, they convicted.
You can always tell
convicted for child porn.
Out of everyone in that band, you could always tell his little like gangly arms like doing them like you're like, yeah, paedophile.
That man diddles kids. That's what he's using the arm for. Oh.
But funny enough, linking back to the Beatles, Helter Skelter came about because Paul read in a magazine, he said this in an interview and he didn't name the band, but people attributed it to probably being about The Who, and there was an article we read and it was like, yeah, this recording was just, it's so balls to the wall, it's so loud, it's rock and roll, there's heavy, and it's like, it's like nothing you ever heard before. And then Paul listened to it and was like, oh, this is pretty tame actually. He's like, I could do better than that. And then he does the Helter Skelter.
I could do better than that, John.
So yeah, that's the story behind Helter Skelter, one of the songs that probably inspired all of, Black Sabbath would be without a career. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. And Led Zeppelin, it kind of just paved the way. It was the first metal song, as they say.
Yeah, they do say that. And I was listening to I think it's the remastered, maybe it's the 2018 mix or something. But I always thought at the end of Helter Skelter, obviously I got blisters on my fingers, but they've really turned that up in post. Because it used to be like whispered in the background, but I listened to it and then it's like very you can't miss it. It's like a part of the song.
It's a shame, really. I used to be able to just listen just the drum track in one ear, and now I have to listen to it all together. Not a fan of that, George Martin, with your AI mix.
Oh dear.
Savoy Truffle. Do you know that one?
I do know that one. I'm not a huge fan.
Really? I think it slaps. Wow. Oh, well, we need to go into the Glass Onion debacle.
Oh God.
I love it, man. Is it the second track on the album?
Yeah, it is. No, it's the third track.
Let me tell you about strawberry fields.
See, that.
The place where nothing is.
Away.
I'm just like, it's so self-referential. It's kind of,
I like self.
And it's like a summation of Magical Mystery Tour.
I think it is John's worst vocal performance. I hate.
No, I love it. And what I love as well, the strings, they rise up to the chorus and it's like, there's a place you can go. I mean, you look at that and then you look at fucking Liam Gallagher and you're like, yeah, I can see where Liam got that from. Where everything goes.
So
looking through a glass onion. Come on, man, it's so good.
No,
I love that song. I'm a staunch Glass Onion defender.
I like self-referential songs. I don't mind them at all. You look at David Allan Coe. It used to do that a lot with like the entire genre of country music. I think it's really cool when he does it. It's really, brings a little bit of humour in. But John doing it just feels like stroking his own ego. It's just I don't get anything other than that from it.
No, it's a great song.
You guys remember the other hit song we wrote? Yeah, this is another one like that. Yeah,
I think it's taking the piss out of that though. It's like he's basically at this point, there's a cultural phenomenon of like subtext and kind of symbolism in the Beatles music, and there's that whole Paul is the walrus and all that kind of all these conspiracy theories. Paul is dead, like all of this stuff.
Was that coming out in the 60s? I thought that was afterwards. Was that in?
No, it was at the time. Even
was it really?
people were like looking for clues in their albums, and this is one of the if you think they're popular nowadays, obviously they're very popular, and we've got a lot of history and time to go over them. But like they were like at the height of their fame back then. That no one's been as big as them since.
No.
And of course, there were cults and fanatics that were dedicated to everything. I think especially once they started putting music out that had more meat and bones to it and experimentalism and showing that they really thought and cared about all the things they put in their song. I think once the boy band era kind of died down and people were like, wow, like actually, you know what, they're putting some stuff in here and maybe this song's about LSD, and then and then I think that I Am the Walrus, there was like some kind of symbolism about Paul being, or people believed it, and then there was a rumor that came out, and I think the reference of saying the walrus is Paul was like him laying like shit on the fire. And yeah, I think I mean maybe as well the Glass Onion is the layers of the Beatles and he's like, they're all see through, all these rumors are bullshit, which is what you are, but it's a glass onion because you're peeling back layers hoping to find something.
I just I like sure the song can be interesting.
I told you about the fool on the hill.
But I just when I listen to it sonically, it's just uninteresting.
Sonically, like I say, the strings that bring that chorus up, it's like, for me that's goosebumps. That's like, and you're like, whoa, you're strapping in. White Album, here we go.
There's nothing in that song I don't think the Beatles do better in other songs.
Huh?
There's nothing in that song that I don't think the Beatles do better in other songs.
The strings like rise at the chorus, and then but the thing is, it's like a mix of like so many different like the lyrics referencing all the other songs. You've got the strings coming up, you've got like the same kind of driving rhythm, almost funky, and like we were about to talk about Savoy Truffle, but that's got the same sort of vibe, but the Glass Onion's just like a little bit more deeper and sort of I think it's another one of their kind of drawing from everything songs, and I think it really works.
Well, Paul will have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, I guess so. But I mean, I stopped trusting your opinion after you said "Don't Pass Me By" is better than Octopus's Garden. So that's crazy.
Well, you haven't converted me yet, but maybe one day.
The Savoy Truffle. Just beautiful horns on it, man. Like then the way they're recorded, they're so distorted, and just like the way they come in, they're almost like a sample of just like BAM, you know.
Wait, which one's Savoy Truffle? Because I think I get Savoy Truffle and Piggies mixed up because I don't know why in my head how would a Savoy Truffle go?
I can't do it justice by singing it, but
I prefer it when you sing Beatles songs to me, Paul.
It's like see the keys. You know?
Oh yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, I like this
song. Tangerine.
Oh. Yeah, no, I do like this one. Yeah.
Is it Mother Nature's song that has just like the best chorus ever?
Welcome back to Old Man Media, where we play you music down the microphone.
Martha, My Dear.
What
a song.
Yeah, no, it's good. I like that song.
It's probably one of my top 10 musical moments of all time is when Paul McCartney comes in that chorus and goes up to the falsetto and he's like, what have you done? And it's just like, so good.
Yeah,
that gives me goosebumps. It's so good.
Yeah, that 3-song thing from While My Guitar Gently Weeps to Martha, My Dear is really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, take While My Guitar Gently Weeps and put I'm So Tired in there. Sure. I'm a big I'm So Tired fan. I think John is just like performing. He's never been this productive in his entire career, and I think he works best.
Cocaine.
I think he works best in this environment of chaos and being, he's a very sort of intuitive and he's like a reflective musician, he's like, well, not reflexive is what I meant. Like, he's like responding to stuff and bouncing off, and, I think he works best in that kind of spontaneous environment. And, I think I'm So Tired he wrote that in India, and it's all about him having a terrible time, not being able to sleep because, he's away from Yoko, and like he's smoking loads of cigarettes and just not enjoying meditation. I think he's also trying to like kick drugs.
Oh right, okay.
And yeah, he's just having a downright terrible time. And there's like a bit, he's like, "Curse you, Sir Walter Raleigh. You was such a stupid git," because he's the person who brought tobacco.
Oh right, okay.
And he was just smoking so many cigarettes. I just love that. Yeah,
That's good.
John, I think on this album, got all right. Bungalow Bill,
Continuing the story. We're gonna go through every song.
Bungalow Bill.
I'm not. I
How
don't.
did you count?
Yeah, I'm not huge on that one.
Shit in it.
Yeah, what haven't we talked about yet?
I mean, I will. Who knows how long?
Everybody's
I'll
got
love
something to
you.
hide except me and my monkey.
This is an interesting one, I think, because like, it's almost got this post-punk kind of.
yeah,
element
talk
to
about
it.
like Helter Skelter. I mean, that one's pretty raucous, I reckon.
But I like this song for its kind of weird, like sort of instrumentation and the weird lyrics. But then I found out that it was like it's some stuff that Maharishi, like a lot of it's Maharishi quotes and George being like, oh, you know. And then I was like, ruins it a bit for me, but
oh, okay.
yeah, it's cool. Geese do a cover of this.
Do they? I don't know.
It's all right.
If you get a chance, there's an instrumental cover, like an instrumental Beatles cover album. I can't remember who it's by. I feel like it's by Ramsey Lewis. Let me pull it up. Yeah, Ramsey Lewis, Mother Nature's Son. He does a whole album of instrumental covers of Beatles songs. It's really good. I think they're all from the White Album, actually. Yeah, they are. It's
My
really
guy.
good. Give that a listen. That's a really good album.
So actually, there's a few songs we've kind of left untouched.
Yeah?
Julia,
Yeah?
John Lennon, song directed to his mum who is dead.
Okay.
Very heartfelt, very heart-wrenching, very emotional song, and very reflective. Half of what I say is meaningless. Maybe one of the best Beatles lyrics of all time. You know, it's heartbreaking, devastating. Half of what I say is meaningless. Like it's amazing. And I've just had this thought pop into my mind. I was talking about Ram earlier, but then you got Julia. That kind of is a precursor to what John would go on in his solo work, where he does Plastic Ono Band. Plastic Ono Band's just John laying everything on the table, being like, you know, so expose about his, you know, childhood and the death of his mum, and, you know, being working class, and he's just got all of this pent up rage in it. There's like songs on that album where he's like screaming viscerally and gutturally, you know, perhaps inspired by Yoko Ono. But yeah, Julia feels like a precursor to that. Long we haven't spoken about.
No?
Great George song. I'm a big fan of that. It's been a long
Oh, Paul.
lonely time. But yes, it's weird because I think earlier mixes of the album, I think recently I listened to it, it's fine, but some mixes of the album I've heard, that song will come on and it's like super quiet and you've got to turn the volume up to really hear it, and it's like, yeah, mastered very quietly, which I kind of like about it. It's kind of a hidden gem on that album. You know, I've spoken in the podcast before where I'm against my old man nature, I'm a bit of an Elliott Smith fan. And that was the last song he ever played live.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
But again, precursor to what would come on All Things Must Pass, I think. And yeah, just one of my favourite kind of George songs that he did while he was with the Beatles. And then I haven't really got a song for Paul to demonstrate what would come next, because I feel like
we have already kind of covered that with the Ram stuff that you could see.
Yeah, exactly. But like I just feel like Paul's kind of style makes up quite half of the Beatles sounds anyway. Whereas, and I feel like, you know, what he went on to do with his solo stuff isn't that much further astray from a lot of the stuff that he did with the Beatles. He was always pretty consistent with his vibe. But yeah, White Album's a great sort of, maybe because they're all writing their own songs individually and bringing them to, you know, polish together. You get that real personality of each Beatle on it, including Ringo.
Yeah, a little snapshot of Ringo.
Yeah, just rediscovering the White Album.
You've so it's risen in your rankings of Beatles albums.
Absolutely, I think it could be. You know, I think one day I might wake up and it could be my favourite. But yeah, I don't know. I just like there is something about the. I mean, I also in the past I discredited how it's just they just chuck all this out and it's a bit unstructured and there's no concept and who am I to tell someone how to release an album? Like fucking.
Who am I to tell Paul McCartney and John Lennon how to release an album?
Maybe after a few more Old Man in Media episodes, I'll be a little bit more verified. But yeah, I think like that obviously works in its favour, and that is almost the concept of the album is having no concept, which is cool as fuck. So I take that back. But yeah, I just think Abbey Road is. It's one that I've circled back to my entire life. Like I remember listening to Abbey Road for the first time when I was like I don't know, I want to say like 14, and I was just like, wow. And then I listened to it again when I was like 16. I was like, wow. And then every time I revisit it, I just think it is just mind blowing how like succinct and professionally done that album is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, as an album, from back to front, I'd say, as a concept, probably Abbey Road might be better. But for me, I think the White Album, or even Revolver, I think might hold out. I think I've always loved Revolver.
Revolver's great. It's got some really, really good songs on it, and it's kind of got like weird, warbly tape experimentation with like Tomorrow Never Knows, but yeah, just on a whim, to be honest, that we did this episode because I recently rediscovered the White Album, and I felt like I had some stuff to say on it, but I'd like to cover some more classic albums on the.
Yeah, I think that's a good fun.
We were. I did message you saying we could toy around with going through the entire Grateful Dead discography, but I have a feeling that might be a bit more tiring. And
I think that's one to do some research on. Come back to. I think.
It might take a little bit longer, but yeah.
But that's one for the books. I've had a good time.
That makes one of us. Nah. See you next week when we talk about our final episode on Fred. Well, we don't talk about it. We just
we do the episode. We don't just talk about the episode. Fred.
With our final piece on Fred Neil, the life of Fred Neil, based on the book "That's the Bag I'm In" by
Peter Lee Neff.
It's a sad one. It's a tearjerker, but also
bring the Kleenex.
Also unspokenly beautiful. So tune in for that.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.